Paddy, what a second half that was. Give us your main takeaways from what we've seen from that game today, if it's possible to try and put it into a few short words.
Yeah, just just a total mirror image, I suppose. I mean, the commitment was, I know it's a cliche, but the commitment to everything out there was absolutely unbelievable. I think maybe the biggest image was how tired all the players were near the end of the game, and I think maybe even the Tipp lads a bit more, because I think the young legs of the Cork lads were really shown. But just the commitment to tackle second half, and what a mirror image the first was to the second. Like what a change around. I had it down, it was 115 Cork scored in the first half, 114 Tipp scored in the second half, and then vice versa. So it had everything though. We were even saying like a couple of saves from Nash, 2 saves, Brian Hogan catching one over the crossbar, not being able to catch on the other side. So it ended up being very, very even though it was 2 halves that were so dominant by each team.
We always say that Tipperary players, no matter what seems to be going on the field, they still have self-belief. They still have a level of arrogance, a swagger, confidence that sometimes doesn't appear to be justified, but it's always in there. And their confidence should be on the floor after a really bad league final, a terrible performance against Limerick, and then 35 first half minutes here that showed no improvement. And yet they're able to come out in the second half and deliver that.
Well, this is it, and that's kind of what we were talking about beforehand, is it just takes a spark. You know, the ingredients are there. The gunpowder's there, just needs a spark. And they got it second half, few hits went in, got the first, we said they got the first couple of points, and they said, yeah, okay, we're not dead yet. The hurlers are there, it's very, very obvious. But they just needed something, a couple of tactical things at half time, pushing Brendan Maher back, extra bit of pace in the back line, maybe the bit of rain helped, okay, and a couple of hits, and then we got our few points, we got our goal, and Tipp rock and roll then after that. But look, Cork were the very same in the first half. They played it, they had their way with Tipp all over the field, from the back, and their backs were on top. They had an extra, not that they had an extra back, but we had one less forward, and they just knew how to play that. So they look very, very well coached to me now. Maybe not second half when the backs were to the wall, but at the end of the day, I still thought they may have been more likely to win that match with the pace that they were showing. But I think Tipp will be very happy with the draw anyway, and probably Cork after, because even sitting in the stand there, I could sense when Tipp were coming back, even a couple of young lads from Cork beside me and a couple of lads behind me, they've seen it all before, you know, Tipp and Cork, and that's probably always the way it is.
So one more question on each team. Is it premature to say that Tipp are back in this championship now? Do you need to see far more against Waterford now in the Gaelic grounds?
Well, you definitely need consistency. You know, for them to be contenders going forward, this needs to be the level. Okay, and that's only Munster Championship level. So that needs to be the Munster Championship level with a view to going higher again. We don't know what's going to happen next week. Like if Tipp come out with whatever that fluency and thought and urgency was in that second half, they're a match for any team in the country, and you know, Galway and them would be a great match. But if they don't, if that was only maybe an Indian summer or whatever, you know, if it was only just maybe one half where they were able to up it, then they'll be right back down again, and they'll be in serious trouble. So it's all to be seen next week. Easy to say, but you literally can't. There's nobody really can say whether it'll come out next week, but you know, the signs are good. When they stopped thinking, they went man on man. They only 5 forwards the first half. When they made it a battle, desperation, you saw lads jumping and kicking and flicking balls. When they made it that type of game, then they have the hands, the quick hands and the great brains. And as you saw in the second half, they're able to take their scores. But if they're going kind of tactical against teams, they'll find it very hard.
And finally, on Cork, they had a chance today to not quite put Tipp out of the championship, but leave them in a position where they're almost out. And I'm sure the likes of Galway, likes of Kilkenny, the likes of Limerick might have been looking at that thinking, this is great. Someone's going to do our dirty work for us and pretty much eliminate one of the championship favourites. I wonder if Cork or one of those other teams are going to regret what has happened here this afternoon later in the summer.
Well, it's a very, very real chance. As we say, we still don't know. Tipp only have a draw so far, but have the potential to do something. So it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that the other teams are kind of going, Jesus, Cork, you really should have finished them today. Like I've been in Kilkenny before in league matches, and they've, you know, really tried to finish us. And let's be honest, and if they finish us now, what would have happened with management maybe? So it still could happen, but what could have happened with management afterwards? What would some of the more senior players have thought, even mentally, if they come back again next year after maybe a hiding in that second half? How do you come back into it? But no, they've turned it around today anyway, and hopefully they'll keep it going.
Brilliant stuff, Paddy.
Cheers, thanks Dave.